Hey guys, so I'm very late with recording this book haul. I tried actually to record it at the weekend and I recorded it on my camera, and when I went to play it back the entire thing was out of focus. It was awful. So I'm recording this after work, that's why I look so bedraggled. So this is basically my July book haul / in my mailbox take 2. As always, I'll start with the books that I've been very kindly sent for review. The first one is Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Susan. This is the 50th anniversary edition of this book. It has beautiful pink edges, and from what I can tell, it's about starlets, like sort of celebrity type people that are social climbers. They get to basically the top of the entertainment industry, and once there they find out that the only way to go is down. So it's supposed to be a modern classic, and it's really weird because Michael Kors is actually blurbed on the back, which I find a little bit interesting. Bear with me, my allergies are bad today as well. But yeah, so there's that one. Don't know an awful lot about it, but it seems like it might be interesting. From Headline Eternal, I have A Proof of Hard Rules by Lisa Renee Jones. This looks like a sort of contemporary romance. That's what the actual cover looks like there. They did also send me a cute tote bag with the cover on, but I have put that somewhere. So yeah, this is a sort of a contemporary romance, and it says, welcome to the world of dirty money and the Brandon family, where two brothers are vying for control of a business empire. Shane Brandon wants to go legit, but darkness threatens to pull him under. So seems like it could be my thing. You guys know I love me some contemporary romance, so we'll see about that. And this one comes out on the 9th of August. And the last book that I've received for review this time, I'm so excited for. It doesn't come out until the 16th of August, but it is Ravage by Tilly Cole. This is the 3rd book in her Scarred Souls series. I've read the first book. I haven't yet read the second book, but now that I have this, I will probably pick that up super soon. You guys know I freaking love Tilly Cole. She's just one of those authors that has never steered me wrong, and I absolutely adore her, and I freaking love this cover. I really hope that they publish her Hades Hangmen series, because that is my favourite. Okay, so on to the books that I have purchased this time. I picked up in Flames by Abby Glines. This is book God knows what in her Rosemary Beach. So I think it's book 12 or 13. I think there's a novella, so it's technically full novel 12. And this series has gone downhill for me. The first 3 books, the Fallen Too Far sort of set of books, is my favourite. All the books after that I have read, I've not enjoyed as much, yet I continue to purchase them. What is wrong with me? No, they're still okay, but they've taken a really weird turn that I've not really enjoyed as much. And this book is about basically the super bitch of the series, Nan. She's been the villain essentially for the entire series, so people have read it and have said that she's totally redeemed and that they love her. We'll see. I don't think that it's going to work for me personally, but there we go. And then I purchased The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. I haven't read one of her books for a little while now, actually, which I think I need to amend and probably read this one. I get a Pushing the Limits vibe about this, because this is a young adult novel from her, but it's been getting some pretty good reviews, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I don't know what took me so long to pick that up. I really don't. The next 2 books I picked up because of Jen at Reading with Pugs, who I consider to be a really good friend. I saw this book in one of her book hauls and I was like, I need that. And it's Jaws by Peter Benchley. I'm a huge fan of the movie Jaws. watch it religiously. I think it's a fantastic film. We could go into the whole cinematography and film analysis, but I won't bore you with that. But I think it's a fantastic film. And I've always wanted to read the book, but I've never found sort of a decent enough copy. But when I saw this edition, I thought it was perfect. And yes, I can't wait to check that out. I'm thinking it might be a good one to read over the summer, or it might be a good holiday read. I'm not sure. I'm struggling at the moment, guys, deciding on a book to take on holiday. I don't know whether to take my Kindle. I just don't know what to take on holiday. I really don't know. Any suggestions? Put them in the comments. The other book that I picked up because of Jen was this one, and that's One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Ordinarily, I don't think I would have picked this up on the synopsis alone. The fact that Jen recommended it so highly made me want to check it out. It's about a woman, I think in her 20s. She marries her high school sweetheart. They're very much in love, and then he is killed, I think in some sort of plane accident. And she eventually moves on. She finds another love, but then her high school sweetheart comes back. He didn't die. So it's like, who do you choose, your first love or the one that you moved on with? That beam of light is really starting to aggravate me. But yeah, she said it was fantastic, and I haven't heard anything about this author, so because she wrote about it so highly, I definitely wanted to give it a go. The next one I picked up partly because of Jen from Reading with Pugs, and the other half was Ryan from Ryan Reads Books. Ryan from Ryan Reads Books, you know, when he's around on YouTube, Ryan, that is a dig. He basically said, oh, have you heard of this book? And I went, no. Read the synopsis, said, oh my god, that's quite intriguing synopsis. So that sounds pretty good. And I said, yeah, I know, right? Didn't think anything of it because it wasn't really my genre, but you know, it was still on my mind. I thought that sounds like, you know, a really interesting book, but it's not my genre. Would I enjoy it? And then I saw Jen posting about it on Instagram, and how amazing it was, and I was like, clearly I have to check this book out. And that's The Trap by Melanie Rubb, and it's sort of a thriller type suspenseful novel. It's about a woman. She's an author, and 20 years ago, was it? No, 12 years ago, her sister was murdered. Her killer was never caught, but Linda saw who did it, and now years later she's seen that man again on TV. He's obviously become a very famous reporter, so she decides to write a book all about her sister's murder and give her one and only interview to her murderer. And read the synopsis, guys, because it sounds fantastic. I'm hoping that it's as good as it sounds, and that the people that I know that have read it, because the synopsis sounds fabulous. I bought a couple of books in the supermarket. I think it was just a couple. Yeah. I picked up Versailles because I was watching the drama of this, and I was kind of liking it, kind of not. I don't know. Visually, it's fantastic. The Palace of Versailles, the filming of it is beautiful, but I'm not sure what I really think about the acting of it. But I picked it up kind of on a whim. And then I also picked up Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. You may be thinking, but Erin, you tell us all the time that that's your favourite book. Why are you buying another copy of it? Yes, this is my third copy of it. I wanted to have it for this cover because I loved the movie so much. And I just think that the movie edition is kind of beautiful. And yeah, I needed it in my life. That's kind of a lie. I didn't need it. I just wanted it really badly. Okay, I picked up Paris for One, which is a quick read by Jojo Moyes. It's only £1 because it is so thin. I think I needed to take an order on Amazon like up to a certain amount, and I think this tipped it over, but it's Jojo Moyes, and I thought that, well, that really will be a quick read. I might get that read on the bus on the way to work, so fantastic. And then I also purchased Austenland by Shannon Hale. I kind of knew a little bit about this book, but kind of didn't. I never really looked into it enough, but then I watched the movie recently and it was so fun. I kind of loved it. I watched it with my mum and we were both laughing because it has Jennifer Coolidge in it, and it was just so funny. And then I realised that the book Austenland was the movie, and I decided to pick it up. And again, it's very thin, and I would hope that the book is better than the movie, but I enjoyed the movie so very much. So yeah, if it's as good as the movie, I know it's like sacrilege to say that, but if it is, then I'm going to really enjoy that. And that's a really nice quick read. And I didn't know whether this would be a good holiday read, but then I thought it's too thin. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay, so what else have I purchased lately? I bought 2 books in Poundland. I bought The Secret Kiss of Darkness by Christina Courtenay. I've read a couple of books by this author and really enjoyed them. I read her, gosh, what was it called? I can't remember what it's called. It's really going to irritate me. The Gilded Fan and The Scarlet Kimono. Those are the 2 books that I've read by her, and I freaking love them. I thought they were absolutely fantastic, and when I saw this in Poundland for £1 by the same author, I was like, clearly I've got to give it a go. And I think it's a sort of dual timeline story. Woman in the present purchases an old portrait, and I think somehow the portrait kind of talks to her, and she finds out his sort of history with, I think he had an affair with a married lady, and their sort of love was worth any risk kind of thing. And I think that somehow the woman in the present gets connected to the guy in the portrait, his family in the present. I think that she sort of tracks him down and tries to sort of validate this story that this, you know, portrait is somehow communicating to her. That's what I get from the synopsis anyway. But I really loved the 2 books that I've read by Christina Courtenay. So I thought for £1, I thought it was a good investment to buy that one. And then the other book that I bought in Poundland was Vixen by Rosie Garland. I didn't know anything about this book. Obviously I read the synopsis, but then I quickly scanned some reviews on Amazon, and every sort of review that I was flicking through said that the writing was absolutely beautiful, verging on lyrical. And whenever I hear the phrase lyrical writing, I always think of Laini Taylor, because that's how I describe her writing, as lyrical. Like, it just flows and has this beautiful imagery attached to it. So obviously this isn't a fantasy novel like Laini Taylor's books, but I thought if the writing is beautiful, let's give it a go. And it's also a historical novel. It's set in Devon in 1349, and it's about this young girl, I think she's 16. She becomes the housekeeper for a priest, I think it is, Father Thomas, I think his name is, and it's not all it's cracked up to be, I don't think. And then this mysterious girl washes up on the shore. I think it's a LGBT novel, but don't quote me on that. And it's also sort of in the run up to the plague striking. And let's just take a moment to admire this beautiful cover. So yeah, I thought for £1 we'll have it. I also bought Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Mainly, I never thought that I would buy this, but I watched the movie, and I know loads and loads of people hate the movie, but I kind of liked it, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was really fun and lighthearted, and I took it sort of in the way that it was supposed to be taken, I think. Really enjoyed it anyway, so I thought I would try the book and see if that made me feel any different. I also bought Vinegar Girl by Anne Tyler. This sounds really good. It's a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare, sort of a more contemporary retelling. I think they're doing a fair few of these. The end papers are beautiful. And yeah, it's quite a thin book, and I'm a big fan of The Taming of the Shrew, so I think this will be a fun read. So I thought that this might be not wholly appropriate for the holiday. I thought I need lighter. I need like a contemporary maybe, or Regency, something like that. I don't know. I picked up 3 books in the works. The works these days don't really have an awful lot that I'm interested in. I used to go into the works. If you watched the very first kind of book hauls that I ever put up on this channel, I would haul so many books from the works, and I just feel like their actual book selection has shrunk, and they're now all about, like, there's more arts and crafts. They've got huge adult colouring like books. Their non-fiction books have grown, but it's not like interesting things, you know, for me anyway. I'm not saying, you know, for anybody else, but for me it's not stuff I'm really interested in. So yeah, I haven't really been buying an awful lot in the works, but I did pick up 3 in their 3 for £5 deal. The first book that I picked up, and I was originally just going to walk away with this one, but clearly that didn't happen. I picked up Midnight Bites by Rachel Kane, and I saw this a few weeks ago in Waterstones, but I didn't buy it because obviously it was full price in Waterstones, and I thought, you know what, I'll get it somewhere else, and I just didn't. But they had it in there, and the Morganville Vampire series is ended now. I really need to get back into it. I'm about halfway through the series. And this is basically a collection of the short stories, the novellas from the series, and they've put them all together in one book, and I love that it still matches all of the other books. So yeah, I was really pleased that this was here, because even if I bought it by itself it would have been £2, and it's I don't even know how many short stories are in here. I think it's got a fair few. Oh, it's got loads, I think. Like 22, and some of them aren't very long at all. So that's insane. So yeah, I was super stoked that they had that there, even though, like, I'm not quite up to the series. That's kind of my goal, is to get caught back up with that series. Then another book that I had my eye on, I don't know if you guys remember, but I went through a stage after reading The Girl You Left Behind of wanting to read sort of romancy type books, historical fiction set around World War I or World War II. And when I was looking up sort of books in that era that might interest me, this is one that came up, and it's Commandant's Girl by Pam Jenoff. And I didn't get around to buying it, but then it was bam, right there in the works, and I was like, we're going to pick that up because it's in the 3 for £5 deal. So I did, and it's nice to know if I do enjoy this, that she's written other books similar. The last book that I picked up in the works was The Dress, and this is by Kate Carrigan. I remember seeing this one on Deb's channel. What's her reading? Deborah's Book Cafe. There we go. I remember she hauled an arc, and it was really, really beautiful. But since then, I haven't really seen a lot of it. But it was in the 3 for £5 deal, and it was the only other book there that I held any interest in at all. So I picked that one up. And finally, I'm down to the last 2 books, guys. Sorry, it's been such a long time since I recorded a book haul that things have kind of piled up. But this is one I pre-ordered, and that's The Land of Stories, An Author's Odyssey. I've already read this, but I'll tell you more about it in my wrap-up. This is the 5th book in The Land of Stories. I was so excited for this to arrive, guys. I was tracking it. When it was out for delivery, I was tracking it like every 20 minutes. I was so excited for this one. It's a series that if you haven't read, you really should. It's a middle grade series, but it can be enjoyed by everyone. Like, Chris Colfer has written it in such a way that it's just so fabulous. And I said to Ryan, because he's also a big fan of this series, that whenever I pick one up, it's like reuniting with like an old friend. I love this series, and it's fantastic. I almost got a little bit choked up there talking about it. I didn't, it's allergies. I assure you guys. And the last book, I had seen this book around before it got released, because the cover, something about the cover really just stuck with me, and I love it. I've heard kind of mixed things, but it sounds like a book that I'm going to really like, and fingers crossed I do. And it's The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. I've been really into sort of my fantasy reads, like I haven't read one recently, but I'm always drawn to them. And I love that this is, you know, like a city, but it's a crown. I think this cover is life. I love it. And it's about two sort of magicians, or I think they might be called enchanters. And they have to battle it out to like the death to become the kings. Well, it's set in Russia, which for a start I can't wait to read. But I think they sort of battle it out to become the king's enchanter. But I think they fall in love. So obviously a fight to the death when you've fallen in love with the person you're fighting is not the best idea. But the whole idea of the two enchanters reminds me of The Night Circus by Ellen Morgenstern, which is one of my all-time favourite books. It's fantastic. So I'm hoping it'll be like that, but with some fantasy elements thrown in. So really excited for this one, guys. And that finally is everything I've got to show you this time. Sorry it was so long. If you've read any of these books, please let me know in the comments down below. If I've added any of these books to your wish list, also let me know. I always love to know. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Happy reading.